Good morning. We'll continue whatever that we were doing in the last class. It is about the verification and validation. And still we are in the introduction to verification, validation, testing part of that. We are going through the different terms and all these things and establishing a baseline so that other activities, okay, other strategies, other testing procedures can be understood better, right? This is the unit number 4 we are going through. The content of this is part of I number 2 as well as 3, right? And whatever that we cover until Monday, coming Monday, everything is there, including the model-based testing, 2 things, whatever that we have done in full length. Those things are there. It's better to do programming, complete that state diagram-based test procedures writing completely. That will help you to do much better in I number 2, right? Right. With this introduction, okay, or shall I go to the next one, today's topic? Ashish?
Yes.
Right. Arpita is there? She has joined?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Right. Keep on, okay, responding to me regularly so that I'll also feel the things are, okay, live, okay, getting into. Today, I sent a message saying that it begins shortly. Class begins shortly, right? And I spoke to Ashish, and he said shortly it means maybe a 10 to 15 minutes, right? That's the best example which we can take as a requirement. A lot of ambiguity, right? When a lot of ambiguity is involved in that, testing becomes very difficult, right? Such similar example in the form of requirements, we are okay, taking that one today and discussing and getting into few terminologies, right? Shortly, the meaning of that maybe 5 to 10 minutes for Ashish. For me, it is a minute or two, right? Under such circumstances, how do you do the testing? How do you measure the response, right? That is one big part of that, right? Testing becomes a difficulty if there is no clarity in the requirement specification and all other things, right? So now let's look into that, right? It is given in the textbook, okay, the same thing I'm referring. Requirement number 1, it is required to write a program that inputs 2 integers and output the maximum of these, right? And requirement number 2, it is required to write a program that inputs a sequence of integers and output the sorted version of this sequence. I will not take you to the details of all these things, right? But one thing is certainly true. 1 minute. Right? There needs a clarity. For example, in case of requirement number 1, look at that, 2 integers, fine. Inputs are on 2 integers. Is it on the same line or is it on the 2 separate lines? Or do we get the input from the files or from the keyboard? From where do we get it? That clarity is not there, right? In the absence of the clarity, it becomes very difficult to check it. Because what happens is, if at all you are giving the input on the 2 separate line and and in the same line, reading is different. And if at all you are getting the input from the files, right, there are many things will happen. When you input the file, where do you input the file? What is the name of the file? If the file do not exist, what happens? If the file exists and it is empty, what happens? Right? What is the format of the input files? All these things are missing from the input, requirement number 1. So it becomes very difficult to test, right? That's why requirement engineering, requirement specifications are very important. You need to be very precisely tell everything without assuming anything, right? Such simple requirement number 1, you can write a paragraph on that. It is required to write a programs that that inputs 2 integers written on the same line separated by blank space, right? Right, from the keyboard, the user will input, right, and output the maximum of these things on the screen, right, on the screen. You need to tell where exactly output is to be written. Is it into the file? Is it on the screen? Input, is it from the keyboard? This, or is it the input is to be read from the file, right? Then on the same line, 2 integers or on the separate line, all these things matter. These are the information that's missing here in the, in the absence of these required information, testing becomes difficult. Now look at the requirement number 2. Right? It is required to write a program that inputs a sequence of integers and output the sorted version of the sequence. Right? Now look into that. Right? Again, the input. Input, is it from keyboard? Right? Is it from the file? Right? Sequence of integers. How many? Are there any limitation of the program? Storing capacity. If at all you declared an array, right? Declare array size of 100 and the sequence of integers is more than 100. What happens? That details are not made available. Sequence of integers maximum is say 100, right? Thus, right? Are there any constraints, or is that the program accommodates any number of sequence of integers, right? Do you input from the keyboard or do you input from the file, right? So is it on the same line separated by space or same line separated by comma? Is it comma separated values or is the space separated values and all, how they are? See, all these things today we talk about the data analytics, right? So in case of data analytics, or when you are merging the information from multiple source, all this incompatibility, right? Maybe at one place it is a comma separated value, at some other place it is a space separated value. How do you understand that? At one place it is on the same line, it continues. Again, maybe in other file it is one after the other. One after the other it's being written, right? All these things, right? The specification, right, are important. That's why when you write a requirement for projects, right, you be precise, try to detail more, right, and then go ahead with that, right? You cannot assume anything here. Any question, Arpita, Ashish, at this stage? Any questions?
No, sir.
Right, please understand
No,
that.
sir.
Right. Okay. Now the another issue with the requirement number 2 is that, right, sorted version of this sequence. What kind of sorting? Ascending, descending, what? It is not clear. Well, how do this input is given to the program, whether it is to be in ascending order or descending order? Probably the sequence of integers input, right? It proceeds with what I can say is a alphabet saying that A for ascending and D for descending, right? A for ascending and D for descending, right? How do you take care of this? How do you take care of this? If anything other than, I'll enter A, then sequence of integers. That means ascending order sorting to be done. Then D, then sequence of integers, descending order to be done. If other than A and D, if I enter, right, what a program should do? That's clarity you have to give it. And is it case sensitive? Right? Or case insensitive for that one, right? Capital A and D or small a and D, will it be the same and all these things? And if the, the alphabets A and D, indicating ascending, descending order, if those things other than that, if you write it, what is to be done to be written there? That's what is a robust code we talk all about, right? Are you clear about the requirement? Are you clear about this, Ashish?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right. You can take a screenshot of this and add it in our class question bank, in class question bank. Right. Consider the following requirements. Right. List and explain the various issues associated with these requirements from testing perspective. Right. And complete the requirements. If there are any issues, complete the requirements. Ashish, note down. Taken a screenshot. Ashish, taken a screenshot. Ashish?
Sir,
Yeah. Yes, sir. I've taken.
can you repeat the question,
Yeah,
sir?
simple thing. Comment on the following requirement from testing perspective. That's all. Simple.
Yes,
And do the
yes, sir.
correction if necessary, justifying every correction that you suggest. right? B part, develop a test case for the requirement number 1 and 2 separately. Okay, are you okay? Ashish? Arpita?
Yes, sir.
Shall I go to the next one?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, that's good. Now, this is a simple example, but in the examination, you may get a complex kind of things, right? So, I'll skip all these things because the same thing I explained to you about that. Now, let me introduce a different term, right? Different terms will introduce. Okay, one is correctness and testing, right? We all know that correctness, we understand it, right? Then testing, and we have a term called testing, debugging, right? All these terms that we introduce, right? And also we have a term called reliability, right? So let's look at the definition of reliability, right? As per the ANSI or IEEE definition, is a probability of the failure-free operation of software over a given time interval and under the given condition. Look at that. Failure-free operation, okay, of a software over a given time interval and under the given conditions. Given conditions are important thing because software has been written to work for given, okay, environment, and if that environment, other than that environment given, probably software doesn't work, okay, that is also to be taken care. That is what is called a robust code. Look at other definitions, right? Software reliability is a probability of failure-free operation of software in its intended environment, right? For example, pen, ballpoint pen, you have to use that one on paper. You cannot use a ballpoint pen to write the things on the stone. Intended environment. Are you getting it? A software is supposed to run on Unix environment. You cannot run the program right in a Windows environment. All system calls. Hope, Arpita, okay? Are you understanding this? The meaning of intended environment.
Yes, sir.
Right, right. Wherever required, you people can take a screenshot, right? Wherever required, right? Now let's look into some of the terms. Some of the terms used in software testing, right? Operational profile. An operation profile, look at that, is a numerical description of how a program is used, right? Now look at that. It is not limited only to what I'm showing here from the textbook, right? Now you are looking into the sort program on any given execution allows any of the two types of input sequence. Okay. Now look at that. One is sequence probability, numbers or alphanumeric string sorting. The sorting of a sequence of input, right? The operational profile speaks about the description of numerical description of how a program is being used, right? Now look at that 0.9 probability that numbers only and 0.1 probability alphanumeric string, right? Now these are all the description that, I mean, the terms that is being used in software testing environment, right? You should know about that. Operational profile. You can add it. It is not only the numerical things, numerical description of how program is being used. Other description also you can put it as an operational profile. Are you clear about that? Ashish?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, sir.
In fact, today I'm on leave.
Yes, sir.
Today I'm on leave. I'm okay. It's work from home from me. Right? I'm not in the college. Now look at the operational okay profile. Numbers only 0.1, otherwise this. This is one format you are saying, right? Now let's introduce the term testing, debugging, verification, validation. What exactly you mean by that? Right? Now let's look at the term testing. Testing, okay, as you indicate, is a process of determining if the program has any error. I told you that you cannot prove that program is correct because proving a program is impossible, right? But you can show the error. One single instance of input will reveal that there is an error in that. Got it? Right? Testing reveals an error, and the process used in order to establish this we call as debugging. So you need to, this is one of the important the characteristics of any graduate computer science engineering is debugging capability. So I'll give you a program of size 1 page, 2 page, 10 page, 100 page, right? Lines, 5 lines, 50 lines, 500 lines, 5,000 lines. Module 1 module, 10 module, 1,000 modules, right? And you have a requirements, and you will get a complaint from the customer saying that it is not working as per this requirement, right? You need to do the debugging. What is debugging, right? You provide a proper input and try to check every feature, every step here, whether it is working properly or not. The intermediate values, whatever you are getting, is it okay or not? As a part of debugging, maybe you may be using tools, or sometimes you do it manually, and that we call code walkthrough. Code walkthrough is on a paper, you take a sample input and manually you go through, how exactly every line of code written produces intermediate result and finally the results. We call this a code walkthrough. Are you clear about that, Ashish?
Yes, sir.
Explain, note down,
Yes.
in a question bank, explain the following terms, right? Explain the following terms: testing, debugging, verification, validation, operational profile, code walkthrough, reliability, software reliability. Right? These terms are very important things, that will build, that will make us to understand the strategies, right? Whatever we go through, maybe after the IE number 2, right? Right. We have gone through this. Now, test or debug cycle. Look at that. See here, you have got an input domain, input data, you get it. Construct a test input. See, for example, quadratic equation, right? You have written a C program, to check whether the given input sequence of 3 numbers, whether it is a quadratic, it forms a quadratic equation or not. So you got all possible input domain. When it is a number A, B, C, when I say number integer, right, it may be whatever the minimum and maximum that you can get it, that is the input domain. From that you have to get it. And testing, you will be testing 3 features of that, right? The roots are real and distinct, roots are real and equal, roots are imaginary. These are the 3 you can say partition based on the output. These are 3 categories, classes of the output you get it. So accordingly, what are the possible input equivalence classes? And one representative from that you will take it, and that becomes the test input. And look at that, while constructing the test input, you use operational profile that speaks about that, what is the nature of the input that you get it. And you can include operation profile in the form of the getting input from the file, getting input from the keyboard, right? Only numerical values, alphanumerical value, all that things. We gave one example, right? Depending on the type of problems you are solving, operational profile will be different. It uses a test plan, right? Test plan speaks about, or the test procedure speaks about, right, the description of how do you conduct it. How do you conduct it, right? You have to take input from this, you have to run this program, right? Feed this, right? Then get output. It is a simple thing, but you need a description of that. For example, right, model based testing, let me take you to that to explain about the test plan, right? Hope you all recollect whatever that we were doing. Sample, keep in assignment. Yesterday's code. Okay, reusable component right here. Okay, see here. Now I'm talking about the test procedure or test plan. I want to test how push operation works when stack is full. What is the test procedure or the test plan? Right? I think we have written somewhere. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. What I'll say that one, right? Use class, prepare a class by test, prepare the instance of reusable component, right? Ensure that, right, stack is in the full state by inputting, by calling a push operation 3 times, assuming that the stack capacity is 3. Now the stack is full. Now the stack is full. Where? Okay, here. Stack is 1 minute. Stack is full. Now this is the procedure. Then input one value by calling a push operation and check the return value. Will it give the error message, say M20, message number 20 in this format with the return values, these things, right? Check the return values. If the return value this one, then that is there. Okay, this is a procedure. I'm testing only whether the stack full push operation and the stack full, whether it is working proper or not. Bringing the stack to the full state is a part of the procedure, right? What is the instance you are using? From where do I get it? How do I instantiate that? How do I prepare the state of the stack so that it is in a full thing? All the description becomes a part of the test procedure, right? That's what a part of the test procedure I have described here. This is a pseudocode I told you on that. You can write the English statement rather than a class and all. Use class my test. Okay, you can write here at this stage. Okay, create an instance of that and let's call it as a S. Right? Ashish, Arpita, are you getting the feeling of a test procedure?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Arpita and Ashish, you represent the whole class, right? If anybody has a question, you
Yes.
can just type it in our chat box, and these people are authorized at any point of time to stop me and ask the question, right? So I was talking about the test procedure.
Yes.
So you already noted the question bank. Explain the following thing, right? Right. In that your verification, testing, debugging, reliability, you add test procedure, test plan. All are things you add it. Right? Then you execute that program. Then check the behavior. This checking the behavior, we refer it as a test oracle. I'll show you somewhere. Wait 1 minute, I'll skip it. Now look at that. This also we have explained in our things. You have a program under the test, which you are going to test it. I don't know the code content. I provide input. How do I provide input? Based on its specification, requirements. Then I get an output, I take a return value, and our oracle, what it does the observed behavior match with the expected behavior, right? Okay, this part, what you write is called test oracle or oracle simple. Okay, please add it to in that listing, explain the following terms. Okay, oracle. Oracle is a code, that, answers to your question. It is something like God, right? Thus, is this behavior is okay? It says, oh yes, right? You need to write a script for that. Are you getting this? Right? Now let's look at what exactly the test oracle that we have written. Right? For example, state is empty. Right? State is empty. Stack. What I do is I call display, then take the return value. It is a vector. Then if vector v1 is not empty, then you are displaying this. If otherwise repository is empty and you are successful in that. Are you getting this? The test oracle, it take a return value of that the item to be tested, and it will dissect that, and it will answer yes. It is okay. Yes. No, it is not okay. So this is an example of test oracle for the given state diagram. How do you write a test oracle? How do you write what is oracle? Right? With example, okay, create a business scenario. Note down. Ashish, Arpita. Next question. Next question. Ashish. Ashish, I'm audible?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Right. What is test oracle? Question mark. Prepare a business scenario. Prepare a business scenario. And this is the best example, this document. Prepare a business scenario to explain, prepare a business scenario and write the test oracle. And write the test oracle for the program under test. Right? So in that case, you understand that, okay, test oracle. What is oracle? Oracle is a program, right? Correct. We have written. Oracle is a program designed to check the behavior of other programs. That's all. You try to be very precise when you are explaining the terms. But do you know how to write a test oracle? Yes. How? This is an example where, okay, you have a behavior. This you have to write it, right? Then you have to write a specification, right? Then you have to write a class diagram. Then you have to say that part of the test, okay, oracle is this, right? It can be asked for 20 marks. It can be asked for 10 marks. It can be asked for 5 marks. 20 marks, full length, 5 page, entire this document will go. Right? Ashish, making some sense?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right. And I wanted, that's why I'm telling you, this particular activity, everyone must do it in a group with seriousness. Okay, I'll go back. Otherwise, you are limited. Otherwise, you are limited to the theoretical description, whatever I give here. Already, I have given assignment on how to write test oracle. Okay, Ashish, you wanted to say something?
No, sir. I was saying, uh, I think most of the students have done that.
That's great. And if you are really done on your
Yes.
own, okay, that is much better than sitting in the classroom and listening. Okay, right? No, I mean it. That's a real life. But it doesn't mean that you should not sit in the class. You must, right? You must to validate what you have done, right? Right.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Then, okay, I was talking about his behavior is as expected, right? Okay. Use specification. Okay, specification. How specification is there are given in that model-based testing. Yes, no. This is a test oracle do, right? No, cause for the error. Debugging the program. Debugging is a process of navigating, going through either, okay, programmatically or manually. We call it a code walkthrough, right? And locating the error, right? And the best programming style or the architecture for your entire product, okay, is object-oriented approach. Because if any error occurs, it is within the object. It is not across the object. Right? That's why an abstraction, right, facilitates code maintenance. And how, right, is by, okay, as a part of the code maintenance, okay, as a part of debugging procedure, code maintenance, okay, you add a new code for that. You, okay, refine that one. You restructure that, right? You do the changes in that. The changes will be within that particular, okay, boundary called abstraction class, right? And even when you are debugging, when error occurs, you can go and locate the error in the given class. easily. So that's why this structured approach, right, which you see as a part of an object orientation in the form of an abstraction or classes, or making a class highly cohesive, right, that enables debugging process also, right? Not done the question. Not done the question, right? Okay. Explain how object-oriented programming paradigm explain with example how object-oriented programming paradigm enables better debugging the program under test. Ashish, update all these things immediately after this class, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So this is the way in which we are preparing. Students have misunderstood that, right? You are seniors. Software engineering is theoretical things. No, not at all, right? At least, okay, you agree and appreciate, right? It is not a theoretical things. Okay, a lot of practices are there. Ashish, am I right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Right. By writing this flow diagram, whatever it is there, okay, sometimes the people ask, explain, test or debug cycle. You write it, you get 5 out of 5 or 10 out of 10. Okay, that will not serve any purpose until unless these things you bring into the practice. Very clear? Hmm?
Yes.
Right. So I'll quickly move to the next one. Right. Now, okay, test case or test data. Okay, look at that. Test case is a pair consisting of test data to be input to the program and expected output. Already we have done it now. Ashish, sequence diagram, based on the sequence diagram for banking withdrawal, successful withdrawal, we have created different scenarios, for use case different scenario and written the tables and all. Am I right? Ashish?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Those are the test cases. But representation may be different. Now look at that one of the test set. Okay, test case is a individual. Test set is a collection of test cases. In that question, you list that one. Explain the following terms: written no validation, reliability, debugging, all that thing. You add that in that test case and test set. Right? Look at that sample test case is test data is this A ascending indicating 12 to 9 32 expected output is okay this 2 9 12 32. Now I'll give this input and I should get this output. This simple case, so okay, it is understood that it is very easy, but it is not the so. Okay, writing the test case okay, needs a total understanding of all possible scenario that makes a use case. Got it. Shall I go to next one?
Yes.
Ashish? Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Okay, right. Now look at that program behavior. A state diagram specifies the program states and how the programmer, right, how the program changes its state okay, on input sequence of inputs. Right, we already gone through state diagram based testing. Sometimes a description, right, for a menu, when you click a particular menu item, okay, you have a drop down list box appear, something like that. Behavior, how it's being expressed, look at that. Start application, expecting user input, it's waiting. User clicks a mouse on a file, then pull down menu displayed, then user select a open, then open is highlighted, okay, right. User releases the mouse button, file names in the current directory invisible in a window. I mean, the flow of that is being indicated, okay, here, behavior. State diagram is one which is very important to represent a behavior. And we are used, okay, stack as an example to represent that. Okay, I spoke about the Oracle, right? And you are, most of you people have implemented that. That's a good thing. And please prepare fully, thoroughly on that. That will help you in semester and exam. Oracle construction. Construction of automated oracles. Now, what program you have written is an automated oracle, right? It is a program, automated in the sense a program is being written. Okay, it can be run this one, right? The oracle can be manual also, right? Are you getting this? Construction of an automated oracle is a complex undertaking, right? Some such simple primitive aspect you people have got an exposure. Now, how do you prepare for the placement? Okay, if at all people ask you what are your expertise in that, you can write testing, right? You can say, okay, writing test oracles. By writing that one, you are inviting the, company people, interviewer, to get into these things. You can play around much better. What all the practice-based learning you have done, expertise in following things. Writing, testing, you can write. And we have used some of the tools. Hope you people have done that. JUnit, right? Assertion in C language. Ashish, hope everyone has done written small program, 1 or 2 lines on assertion. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. What about the JUnit?
JUnit
Yes, sir.
is also done by few people.
No, everyone has to do. Everyone has to do.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes.
Do it because that is a learning. Okay. Simply in a classroom, if a people
Yes, sir.
listen, that is not learning. That's why our assignment speaks about your quality. If everyone has done that one, that's the best. Not getting S grade. I don't look into your S grade. I look into whether you are written thing. S grade you get it if you reproduce what is there in the book, right? You get S grade, right? Correct. But if you
Yes,
do
sir.
all assignments, right, you are thoroughly. You are prepared. You are competent enough. Right? Please do that. It is getting closed. Meeting in next 5 minutes. Automatically it closes. Until that, I'll continue. Afterwards, that's the end of that. I don't use. I'll skip some of things. I think we are getting into the details of the next one. I think probably I should refer it, okay, in the next class only. That will be better. Now this is not right. But some terms we use, testability. Right, now look at that. You can add this term testability in that list. Explain the following. Okay, degree to which a system or the component facilitates establishment of test criteria and performance of a test to determine whether those criteria have been met or not. Testability. Degree to which system component facilitates, right, the establishment of. Now look at that. The testability you can enhance by following object-oriented programming paradigm. What is testability? Not down, Ashish. What is testability? What is testability? Question mark. Explain the programming paradigm you have studied that enables testability. Explain with example the programming paradigm that you have studied that enables testability. Right? When you go for classes or the abstract classes, abstraction, that itself will restrict everything within a class. Right? So when we within a class, everything is restricted by making it highly cohesive, right? You can locate the errors easily. and that you need to explain. All right. Ashish, is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Right. What is testability? Question mark. Okay. With example, explain the programming paradigm you have studied that enables testability. And testability is a degree to which system component facilitates. My architecture itself will facilitate the object-oriented architecture. How? By making the class highly cohesive. By doing that, what happens is that one, its a behavior is within, right, that particular encapsulation. So entire product can be seen as collection of such islands. When any error occurs, I can pick a particular island called abstract class and do a correction and fit it back, and thereby it facilitate. Right? In non-object oriented things, what happens is it is spread across so many files, so many programming lines and all. Locating becomes difficult. Got it? Are you clear about that? Ashish, all these questions you have to update
Yes, sir.
by today itself. Right. Now, are you understanding that one? Why software engineering is not theoretical course? Arpita? Arpita?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes,
Right.
sir.
Okay, prepare. I hope that one
Yes,
you
sir,
are.
yeah.
I hope that you are enjoying software engineering in terms of making it more realistic through such examples. Right. So anyhow, it is getting closed. I mean, the meeting is getting closed now. Uh, Wait, we will come back. I don't know why only 24 people have participated here, right? There should have been more here. You should be very serious from your end. Otherwise, all the people who have missed this one, they'll find it difficult things to answer in the I2 and semester exam, right? So